Welcome to Byte-Sized Tech. You know, buying a new television should be awesome, but let's be real, it usually feels like you need an engineering degree just to figure out what you're looking at. So in this explainer, we're going to decode all that tech and make this whole process way simpler.
You're standing there, staring at this giant wall of screens, and your head just starts spinning. What even are perfect blacks? How bright is bright enough? What in the world is a QD OLED? It's a lot. Honestly, it's enough to make you just want to turn around and go home to your old TV.
But hang on, don't worry, we're going to cut right through all that noise. And instead of just listing a bunch of confusing specs, we're going to tackle 3 actual real-world TV buying problems using questions from viewers just like you to get you some clear, practical answers.
All right, first up, let's dive into something we can all relate to, finding the absolute best bang for your buck when you're trying to stick to a budget.
So this question comes from Dennis. And man, has he found 2 amazing deals. A 65-inch Panasonic for $579 and a 65-inch TCL for just $549. He says he's going to be using it in a dark room, mostly for streaming movies. Both of these look fantastic on paper. So how do you possibly choose?
I mean, just look at this. At first glance, these 2 TVs are practically twins. We're talking a tiny $30 price difference for the exact same size screen, and they even have the same layout for HDMI ports. On paper, it's a dead heat.
Okay, so when we dig in, the real differences boil down to just 2 things: brightness and the operating system. Now, the OS part, Google TV versus Amazon's Fire TV, that's kind of personal preference, so let's call it a wash. But the brightness, that's a real measurable difference. The Panasonic is just a brighter TV, period. And that really matters, even in a dark room, for watching HDR content, the stuff that's made to look extra vibrant with bright highlights and deep colors.
So, the bottom line is, even though these TVs are neck and neck, there is a clear winner here for a very specific reason. Our recommendation for Dennis, it's got to be the Panasonic W95A.
So what's the big takeaway for you? Well, this case is a perfect example of what to do when things are super close. You look for the one feature that gives you more options, more flexibility. That extra brightness on the Panasonic is what we call headroom. You might not need it all the time, but when you do, it's there to make those big cinematic moments really shine.
Okay, time for our second case. We're going to switch gears completely now. We're going from the budget battle to a high-end, no-holds-barred upgrade for a really challenging room.
Now, Patrick here has what I would call a very good problem. He's moving into a big, bright space, and he's ready to go all in on a home theater upgrade. He's stuck between 2 of Sony's absolute best TVs. The huge 85-inch Bravia 9, a mini LED beast made for brightness, and the 77-inch A95K, a premium QD OLED famous for its perfect colors. This is the ultimate showdown of TV tech.
And this really boils down to a classic choice. On one side, you've got the Bravia 9 Mini LED. It's bigger, and it has sheer brute force brightness that can punch through any daylight. On the other side, you've got the A95K QD OLED, with those perfect inky blacks and flawless contrast. It's an absolute dream, if you're in a dark, cinema-style room.
So, what's the call? For Patrick, it has to be the Bravia 9. And the reason is so simple. It's not about the TV, it's about the room. In a space that's flooded with light, brightness isn't just a cool feature, it's everything. Let's just quickly break down why. First, that brightness can cut through glare where an OLED would just look washed out. Second, in a huge room, those extra 8 inches of screen size are going to feel, well, huge. Plus, today's top mini LEDs get so incredibly close to OLED black levels, most people can't even tell the difference. And finally, you get total peace of mind. No risk of burn-in, where a faint ghost of a logo gets stuck on the screen forever. Yeah, that's a real concern for a TV that's fighting bright light all day. All right, for our final case study, we are tackling a question that I think trips up so many of us. You've got a great TV that you like, so is it really worth it to upgrade to the brand new model?
So, this user wants to know if they should trade in their 75-inch TCL 6 series for the newer, same-size TCL QM6K. And you think, newer model, same size, it's got to be an upgrade, right? Well, not so fast.
Okay, check this out, because this is where it gets a little weird. If you just look at the raw picture specs, the older TCL 6 series is actually brighter than the new QM6K. Yeah, you heard me right. The older model is brighter. For the main job of a TV, showing a picture, that could feel like a step backward.
But hold on, the story doesn't end there.
The real upgrade with a QM6K isn't really the screen itself, it's all the quality of life stuff. It has a way better processor, which means your streaming shows look cleaner. It ditches the old Roku system for the much more modern Google TV. And this is huge for gamers. It adds 2 HDMI 2.1 ports, which you absolutely need to get the most out of a PS5 or an Xbox Series X.
So, what's the verdict? Is the upgrade worth it? The answer is a big, fat maybe. It totally depends on what you care about. If you're a serious gamer, or if you just want a faster, smarter TV experience, then yeah, the QM6K is absolutely worth it. But if you're just looking for a dramatically better picture for watching movies, you might not really notice a huge difference.
Okay, so we've looked at 3 totally different scenarios: a budget battle, a premium upgrade, and a tricky upgrade decision. But the lessons we learned can all be boiled down to one simple checklist that you can use for your own TV hunt.
Here it is, your 4-step plan. Step 1. Assess your room. Is it bright or is it dark? Seriously, this is the most important decision you'll make. Step 2. What are you going to do with it? A gamer needs different things than a movie fanatic. Step 3. Compare the quality of life stuff. The processor, the OS, the ports, the smarts of the TV really matter. And finally, step 4. Look beyond just one spec. A TV is way more than just its peak brightness number. It's the whole package.
And that brings us to one last kind of funny thought. After all this talk about specs and tech and the race for the perfect picture, maybe the most important feature you need to think about isn't actually in the TV at all. Maybe, just maybe, it's the window on your wall. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.